Right guys, training diary for the week commencing the 27th of September, and this was a completely random one to start off with. 24 kg single arm long cycle, 380 reps, not PB. My PB is a very frustrating 399, but it was a good set. It felt comfortable, especially the first 15 minutes. Got a bit tired in the last 10, but it's 12/13 RPM, so it's a good pace. I do struggle to move quicker than that and still make it look pretty, but it's, to me, 13 is kind of my ceiling really. So like I said, this wasn't a PB, but it was out of the blue. I literally did not plan to do this until I actually got out in the garden and thought, well, what should I do? And this is what I came up with. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Happy with the result. Also, you see in the book I put SM. No, SM is stick mobility, which is my new toy. But it's not really a toy, but it's a new thing that I've got myself into. I'm still really enjoying it. It's the first mobility thing I've actually kind of stuck with doing for more in a few days before I kind of forget about it. So yeah, it's great. So I did in a week put up a 15-minute routine that I'm currently doing with the stick. It's pretty basic. There's so much more you can do, but I'm just sort of tapping into the beginner stuff really. But I do honestly think it's helping. I think that partly is why that single arm long cycle set felt so comfortable. I think my overhead positions got better. So on Tuesday, that's all I did. Had a day off. This is stick mobility. I think that's the one I put up on the on Facebook page. So that's a 15-20 minute little circuit. And again on Wednesday, see on there, SM stick mobility. And then I did. This was always a hard session with the rowing and the double half snatch, so 16 intervals effectively, minute on, minute off. So the rowing was without straps, but all at sub 145 pace. In fact, most were under 144. So I do the row, minute row, aim for sub 145, minute rest, because I'll get off the rower and then do a minute of double half snatch. And I did that with the 16, so the first set, and then stuck with 18s for 18 reps. So double 18s for 18 reps. So again, that's kind of flat out pace with good form on the double half snatch. You can go 20, but form gets a bit crap. So yeah, tough session. Average heart rate 158, peak 164. Quite very similar average to a peak. But I guess that's, yeah, it's a minute on, minute off, so I'm resting for an entire minute between each thing, so that's not inconceivable. Okay, on Thursday, more stick mobility, as you can see there, SM written in the book. So this was round at Owls for the bike erg. So this was kind of the equivalent of 8 times 300 meters on the rower with a minute rest. So this was 8 times 600 meters with minute rest, with the target being sub 1 minute per round, which I managed. But trust me, my legs were pumping. They were engorged with blood. By the time I finished, I was breathing super hard. My peak heart rate, as you can see there, is 179, which is high for considering I'm seated as opposed to stood up. Don't normally get heart rates that high unless I'm doing kettlebells. Rarely on a rower do I get heart rate up like that. So yeah, it is, even though it's legs only, I can still elicit a very, very high heart rate from that. You can really, really bite down and give it some, and I'm absolutely loving it. So Al came up with this workout. He gave me a target plays, try and get each one under a minute. So how could I not try that? So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Glad to get it finished. It was a tough session. And on Friday, I did double long cycle. So this is really was more of a test to see how much difference the stick mobility had made to my double overhead. And so as you can see there, as I'm lifting, my double lockout is good, nice and long, arms probably straighter than normal. There's still lots wrong with my double lifting, I would say. Well, my jerk generally, probably. My extension is really, I don't get much height up my toes, for my heels slam back down. I'm not really extending through the hips properly. All these things of course contribute to the fact that I can't really do more than double 24s with this movement, simply because of the form. Now some of that is mobility, some of it is just technique and having to perhaps trying to relearn. I don't know, I just know that my full extension is not very high. I've taken photographs of athletes in the past where they're really up on their toes, hips, and mine just doesn't look like that. So yeah, always work in progress, but having said that, it felt better than it looked upon review of the video. It felt good, so that's a start. If it feels better, it must be better. I wasn't going kick-ass pace, it's just 19-20 reps, so sort of 9-10 reps a minute, stuck with the 20s, did a couple of warm-up sets with the 16s and the 18s, 38-minute total session. Yeah, it was good, really good. So this month's online Kettlebell Challenge Cup is double long cycle, so I'll certainly be putting a bit of focus on that one, try and put in a good score. Then on Sunday, so Saturday there, but this was on Sunday. I just did a row, 7 intervals. It says 8 in the book, but I programmed 7 for some reason. I couldn't be asked to add another one in. That's the truth of the matter. I don't like training on a Sunday. I didn't train yesterday, so I went to see the Bond film, which is fantastic, by the way. So yeah, that was a bit of a shabby start to the end of the week, but it's still better than nothing. Right, okay, so that's it. Good week. As you can see, nothing in the way of pent training. As you know from previous blogs, I'm no longer lifting up my own pent, preferring instead to focus on the running of the competition, and it has thrown my training into a bit of turmoil. I was quite focused, now I'm once again a bit all over the place, but it's fine, it's enjoyable still. Good mix of things, try and keep things interesting, and the bike and the mobility stick are 2 new things, and I'm enjoying both of those, so yeah, great. Alright, that's it. You've all had a good week. Hope you have a good week coming up as well. Okay, see you next week. Cheers.